our next subgenre of nonfiction is literary nonfiction. Literary nonfiction is pretty interesting. It may be one you haven't really heard of that much, but literary nonfiction is actually a mix of fiction and nonfiction. So a lot of times you'll look at the book and you would maybe think it was a fiction story. But once you start reading it, you will find out that it's actually a nonfiction, because you're learning about facts, although they're using some fiction techniques. A lot of times it can be written kind of like poetry or a story. So let's check it out. This is called Sky Boys. This is our literary nonfiction example. It's called Sky Boys, and it's how they built the Empire State Building. So I want you to go ahead, activate your schema. What do you know about the Empire State Building? And think about that so that your brain is ready to take in some new information. Now, the second job that you have is to take notes on literary nonfiction on your notebook chart. So I want you to think about, how is it different than reference? What do you notice in it? And we'll talk again at the end of the lesson. So let's go ahead and get started with Sky Boys, how they built the Empire State Building. Kind of cool. Okay. Let's go ahead and open. Oh, the first page has some black and white real photographs of the Empire State Building actually being built. Really cool. This book will be in our classroom for anybody that wants to see it. Boop. Okay. So then we're gonna go, we see, I'm guessing, the birds because they're so high up in the sky, and let's get started. So here's the picture. I'm gonna show y'all the pictures while I read. I'm sorry that my setup isn't that great and it's a little bit wonky of recording, but I don't have all the tools I need at home and I wanted to record the videos. So here's the first page of Sky Boys, and I'm gonna get started. It's the end of winter and your pops lost his job. So every morning before school, you scour the streets for firewood, hunched down in an icy wind. But look, here's a pile of wood, free for the taking. All carted off from that old hotel they tore down at 34th and 5th. 600 men are there, leveling, shoveling, hauling, clearing the rubble away. They're getting ready to make something new. Bold, soaring, a symbol of hope in the darkest of times. A building, clean and simple and straight as a pencil, and tall. So tall, it will scrape the sky. You drag your pop along to see and tell him what you've heard on the street. Mr. Raskob wants to build the tallest skyscraper in the world, you say. Taller than even the Mr. Chrysler's building. They say it'll be done by next May. Think they can build it that fast, Pop? Things are so bad, it seems foolish to even try, he replies. Then he sees your face and add, course, you never know. So let the race begin. So as you can already tell, this is really different than the reference book that we read earlier. And you're gonna notice there's a lot more description. I don't see pictures and captions or subheadings. So with literary nonfiction, it may look like a fiction, but we're gonna become experts so that we can actually read one and pull out the facts. I love a literary nonfiction because I do like fiction, but I also like reading about true historical events and things that happened. So I am a big fan of literary nonfiction. So let's go ahead and read a couple more pages so we have something to think about. First, from the rumbling flatbed trucks, bundles of steel on their back like a gleaming endless river surging through the concrete canyons of Manhattan. That vocabulary is so descriptive, you can really visualize it. This steel is strong and new and only 80 hours old, barely cooled from the fiery furnaces of Pittsburgh. So as you see in each paragraph, we're really learning a fact. We're finding out where they got the steel for the Empire State Building. We're finding about where it's located. We're finding out about the world at that time. So literary nonfiction is really fun to read. You just have to work a little bit to pull the facts out of the story. So we're going to learn a lot more about literary nonfiction. Take some notes on what you saw.